I've been giving prayer a lot of thought. And in light of some recent things that I've been seeing and hearing online, I wanted to discuss something. Can or does prayer help the LA fires? Let's just pick on that one since that's a recent thing in the news right now. By the way, I'm down here at the Liberty Memorial in Kansas City, and the courtyard area is shut down, so I can't go and show you the beautiful view of Kansas City, which eventually I will. But my name's Timmy Gibson, former fundamental evangelical, tongue talking Holy Ghost rolling. You know, that guy. Did that for 30 years and spent 48 years as an evangelical Christian. And I have a lot to say about all things fundamental Christianity, evangelical Christianity. I have a lot of thoughts and perspectives and opinions, and of course I come from that. I come from that world, spent, many years. I've spent a lot of time on the church pew, spent even more time or just as much time in the pulpit over my life so far. So it's good to be free from all of that. I deconstructed about 6 years ago. If you want to know more information about that, check my other videos out. Got a lot of videos about a lot of things. I think I'm closing in on about 200 videos. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, do all the stuff. It really helps the channel. So what's up with prayer? Like, you know, my opinion, probably my perspective is going to be a little unique, I think, because that's kind of how I am in so much of my life, I'm a moderate politically, there's some things I lean left, some things I lean right. I mean, it just depends, I'm not a party person as much. Though I think I registered when I was 16 or 18 way back when, and I've never changed my registration. But that doesn't affect how I vote. But anyway, I'm just kind of like that. I'm just not a in a box type person. I'm not I'm not like a cult guy anymore. I used to be, right? I used to be a cult guy. So I'm not, I'm just not like, I just don't fit into a mold or, here's the group, here's what the group believes. And you got to believe everything the group believes. I'm just not, I would say I'm not wired that way. I don't know. I'm not that way. I just don't think that way. I don't operate that way. That doesn't make sense to me. And so when I think about what does matter to me is free thinking and having my own thoughts, and sometimes they align with other people and sometimes they don't. Just like you watching this, some of you resonate with what I'm saying and you're like, yeah, Timmy, I agree. You resonate with it. And other times, maybe you won't, or maybe other people are like, I don't like this guy. I get it. I feel the same way. I just saw an interview with Andrew Tate. I'm like, I don't like that guy, man. That guy's just a pompous a-hole. Like, I just don't like him. Now, maybe if I met him, maybe it'd be a different story, but doubtful. Just based on what I've heard from him, I'm like, no, I don't like the guy. Anyway, so I just don't fit in any boxes, and I say that just to kind of preface, what I'm going to say about my perspectives on prayer. They're just my own perspectives. Okay, do I think prayer works? No, I don't. That's the big that's the easy answer. Do I think prayer changes things? Absolutely not. I do not believe that. I don't believe that when you pray, there's some God in heaven that's like, oh, Timmy's praying for a front row parking space on Christmas Eve to get some Christmas shopping done, and I'm gonna open up a space right here, right up front. Like, I don't believe in that. Now, what I do believe is that prayer, if someone knows it, can be can be impactful. Let me just say this. I have to get this off my chest. I think the sentiment when someone says, I'll be praying for you, I have no problem with it. I think it's sweet. I think it's precious. I think it's, it's ineffective, but it makes people feel warmed and filled. Even me today, when someone says, I'll pray for you, it warms my heart. Now, intellectually, like I'm like, well, okay, but it ain't gonna do anything. I appreciate it. I guess how I kind of look at it, it's like they're saying, I care about you. I'll be thinking about you, kind of a thing is how I probably receive it. Because I absolutely, if you have something wrong physically and someone is praying for you, like that's a proven statistical fact that it doesn't do anything actually physically, right? Like if you have a headache, you'd be better off taking an Advil, right? Than having, someone lay hands on you and pray for you. I mean, but it's also, it's a sweet thought though, right? Like it just sounds caring. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I'm atheist, agnostic, atheist as it relates to the Bible God. And even myself, when people are like, hey, I'll be praying for your family, or, oh, I heard there's going to be, whatever, some kind of bad weather. And they're like, hey, we're praying for you. It's sweet. It's precious. It doesn't make a hill of beans difference. People are praying right now for LA. It ain't doing nothing except maybe warming some people's hearts to know that someone is praying for them. Maybe that's the only thing that it's doing, but it's not actually doing anything. And that's just so clear. Just look around. That's so obviously clear and easy to see that it ain't making a hill of beans difference when someone's praying. What makes a hill of beans difference, if it's something physical, it's if you go to the doctor and you get the right medicine and you take care of yourself and you eat right. And I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's what you do that matters, and how we love people that matters. Like if someone's hungry and you say, I'm praying for you, well, that's ridiculous. Why don't you go buy them a meal? Anyway, so and let's just be honest. I've been in this world, in the evangelical world, for 48 years. Only been out about 6 years. I have some of the most caring, kind, generous atheist friends or non-believers you could ever meet. And in fact, having been a Christian and now not, I have very loving people around me. And I do have some Christians that are still around me, and they're great. Obviously, I wouldn't be around them if they weren't great. But I get help and encouragement and all the love and care from even my atheist friends. Like it's not like only my Christian friends are the ones that are kind and caring and loving. My Christian friends are the ones that'll say they're praying for me. My atheist friends are the ones that'll come over and say, hey, do you need me to help you with do you need me to help you do something? A little more action oriented. That's not true of all. That's generically true though. So yeah, prayer doesn't work. It absolutely does not work. Though, I think I did a video about this a little bit. I think about prayer, actually. I think I did a video where I talked about, I don't think prayer works, but here's why I do it. And like for me personally, when someone's going through a hard time and I say, hey, I'll be thinking about you. My thoughts are with you. I hope things work out. That's what I say. I don't say I'm going to pray for you, because I'm not. Like I'm not. Now, when someone like my family will ask me, because that was a thing that they used to always ask me back when I was a Christian. They would, because I was a pastor, right? I was always praying for all my family members, and I was always the guy that was asked to pray at meals. Weirdly, I'm not asked that much anymore. Occasionally that'll happen. But anyway, if someone asked me to pray, like literally, like, will you pray like right now? It depends on what it is, and it prayer is words. It's just opening my mouth, saying things. Now, regardless of, like in my mind, I'm saying it. I'm just saying it out. I'm just saying it. It's just going out there. I don't believe that there's a God out there that's hearing it and saying, oh, what did Timmy say? what did Timmy need? Right? Because I mean, listen, if prayer worked, I think the world would be a lot different. You know what I mean? Like I'd have 1 million subscribers. All of my videos would have over 100 million views. You know what I mean? Like, come on, right? Like that would just be, and every Christian would have just the wonderful life, everything great, everything that they could want, the job they want, like everything would just be right. But it's not, right? So yeah, I mean, I just, and I know like a Christian, I know what a Christian would say because I've been there. Like, well, Timmy, it's about faith, you know. It's about when you pray, believe that you receive, and you shall have. Mark 11:24-25. I know the verse. I used to teach it. Uh, yeah, and so because I got amongst those Word of Faith people, and they believe if you have enough faith, you can move a mountain. If you if you have faith and doubt not, God will give you what you want. Like, oh, brother. Yeah. And all the sick and suffering and sad, people believe in that stuff, and it ain't working. It ain't working. I'll tell you who it's working for is the pastor at the top, the one that has the jet and the Mercedes and all that. That's another video. That's another video altogether. Yeah, so like what is that one verse? Whatsoever you desire when you pray, believe that you receive and you shall have. No, that's absolutely not true. That's not true. And I would argue this. How is it that I have a better life now as an unbeliever, as someone who doesn't pray like in that way at all? I say things, I work hard, I promote, I market. I mean, I do things with hopes of it going well. But I don't pray for things to go well. I believe in action, right? If you need a job, sharpen up your resume, send your resume out. Don't pray, because I ain't gonna do nothing for you. So I believe our words are powerful, right? So when we say things, who does hear it? We do. And whoever hears us say it, like for example, I believe I have 2 kids, 2 adult kids, and I tell them all the time, I believe in you, and you're strong, you're smart, you can handle this, you can make this happen. And I say things, which that's what prayer sometimes is for some people. It's saying things. And so I say positive things to my kids, positive, encouraging things to my kids. But I don't look at it as prayer. I just look at it as I'm saying positive things to my kids to encourage them. So, I'm sure there are some people that also think, yeah, I mean, I realize if I've got a wart on my hand that I want it to be gone, praying that God will take that wart off clearly isn't going to work. I need to get wart remover. Right? I need to go to the doctor and have that thing burnt off or cut off or frozen or whatever it might be. Prayer ain't going to do it. Now I'm sure there's someone watching this going, well, one time I had a wart and I prayed and God took it off. Sometimes people have warts that just go away. I mean, I've had that kind of stuff happen where, you wake up with a headache and and you kind of do some stretching and whatever, some deep breaths, and it goes away, you know. And when I was a Christian, I remember what I would do. I would pray, and then when it would go away like that, I'd be like, well, see, God answers prayer. See right there? See that? God answered prayer. I had a headache. God came through for me. While other people are dying and getting sick and starving to death. It doesn't, it doesn't make sense. So the LA fires, does prayer help? No, like it's not going to help the actual fire, but telling loved ones and friends, or making the comment, I'm thinking about LA, I'm praying for LA. It's a nice sentiment. It's sincere, I'm sure, I would hope. But yeah, no, it's not doing anything. It's absolutely not helping the fire at all. Um, I'm always so shocked when some terrible storm comes through, and a tornado comes through, and people are like, I was praying that God would protect my house, and then the house right next to them where those people were also praying, their house was blown away and all their belongings are gone, and you know and then they always, why do they interview always the weirdest people? Like the tornado came through and it sounded like a train coming through, and then I looked over on the fireplace mantle, and there was my Bible, and then the roof came off, and then the sun came and shone right on my Bible, telling me that God was protecting us. Oh, brother. Okie dokie. Oh boy. All right, just another bonus video, just talking a little bit about those LA fires, a little bit about prayer. So let me just tie this up, because I know there are some atheists, and again, I don't agree with every atheist. There are some atheists like, prayer's stupid, it doesn't do anything, blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, yeah, it doesn't do anything in the sense of affecting the material world. I don't believe, okay? I don't believe that. But I think that it can show love and support and care. The sentiment, I think, is fine. Again, when someone tells me they're going to pray for me, like it, it's like, okay, like that's sweet. Now when they're telling me they're going to pray for me because, they don't want me to go to hell, they're praying for me that God will convict me of it. Okay. That, even that doesn't really offend me, but I definitely laugh and think, oh, brother, whatever. Like, your prayers clearly aren't working. My prayers didn't work, haven't worked, never worked. They just didn't. I mean, guys, 48 years of my life was spent in the evangelical church, okay? And I was one of the ones that legitimately believed it. So I prayed a lot for myself, for others, all the time. I was praying all the time for all kinds of things. Now, I don't pray in that way at all. And my life is better. Explain that. I can tell you, it's funny because I still have that evangelical brain. So I know what evangelical, like fundamental wacko types, I know what they're thinking. That's because the devil has blinded your eyes, and the devil is blessing you to keep you away from. it's either God's blessing you or the devil's blessing you. I don't. Or the devil's coming after. Like, if you're blessed, if you're a Christian and things are going bad, it's the devil or God testing you. If you're not a Christian, like I heard the LA fires, it's God's judgment. I heard some moron say that the other day. It's God's judgment. LA, they're a riff-raff group over there, and God is judging LA through the fires of. Like, oh, dude, seriously, what the heck is wrong with your brain? You don't have one. All right, guys, cuss and discuss below. Let me know your thoughts, your ideas on prayer, how you think it's affected your life, not affected your life, if you still value prayer as an atheist. All right, peace.